What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Maverick Raven coming at you in another video. It's been a while, you guys, since we do a political thing. Excuse me, guys. My voice is kind of. Anyways, it's been a while since we do a political video. Like what, like 2 or 3 weeks? It feels like a long time for me because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I've always loved politics, but this election cycle has been stressful, to say the least. Like, I'm not one of those people that get stressed out really about politics like that, because at the end of the day, a part of me has always believed in the United States no matter what, and you should, but I just can't anymore. Like, I just can't, because of a lot of different things, but we're gonna get into it. I got an article here from the Epic Times talking about how the former AG Bill Barr, who really isn't a fan of Trump, said that the DOJ should not have released the letter of Trump assassination attempt suspect. I don't know well, they have to call him a suspect or a subject, We used to call them subjects. It depends on the law enforcement agency. The point is that there's a lot of sus things going on this election cycle, bro. Like, a lot. And the reality is that most 18 and up people, unless you're like, older, and by older I mean like well, let's just say older, okay? Unless you're older, chances are you're not really like going every day, what's going on. I kind of was that way, always going, where are we at, until Obama. And then I'm like, I can't believe we won the election. This sucks. And I was miserable for 8 years, but I avoided all things politics because I just couldn't. I couldn't hear him. I couldn't handle it. It was awful. Then I went to bed, on that night in 2016, thinking, we're kind of screwed right now, man, because Hillary has a 90-something% chance of winning, or whatever craziness it was, and Trump won, and that was awesome. And Trump isn't like a staunch conservative like me, dude, and I shouldn't even say, like, I am a ride or die conservative no matter what. I really highly doubt that anyone will ever change my mind on the conservative way of doing things. I just don't think it'll be that way. And we're not going to even talk about 2020 because that was, absurd. There's a lot of stuff going on that should have been corrected before 2024, but it wasn't. But it came to light anyways, and then when the states tried to do something about it, federal courts across the nation said that they had no standing, which is to say they had no reason to have an interest in what was going on, which is crazy. Number one, to say that, and number two, a lot of courts were like, "Oh, you should have sued before." Wait, before we lost? Like, what's going? This is crazy. So, that has led to, like, me being kind of stressed out this election. And then Joe Biden, it looked like he was tanking, and that was awesome for me. Even though it's scary to think who's in charge of the country right now, because who is, right? And, dude, they took him out because he wasn't going to win. By their own admission, they took him out. They said, according to Nancy Pelosi, they said, we could do this the easy way, we could do this the hard way. What is it going to be? And he stepped out, So who's running the country right now, dude? Because it has, in my opinion, hasn't been Joe Biden, It's been whoever is the Democratic Party. They probably come to a consensus, and that's what, Joe Biden does, because that woman has to be super evil, I'm 100% sure. So, whatever. What happens? Kamala Harris is installed as the Democratic nominee, which is crazy. She was the most left senator ever, more far left than Bernie Sanders, and that is saying a lot, because Bernie Sanders at one point wasn't even a Democrat anymore, right? And now she's saying that she's not far left and she's not really a leftist, that she's not really a leftist. And it's like, what do you, and here's the thing with the Democrats, dude. Like, late in the last, I guess, 10 years, nah, I guess it's been since Obama, dude. The gaslighting has been ramping up. And it has to be called nothing but gaslighting. Because that's exactly what's going on. And I'm going to try to make this as short as possible, but it's probably going to be a longer video. And I apologize already for the 5 minutes. But, dude, Kamala Harris is a leftist. Or a liar. Or both. She pretty much is like the perfect political candidate. She will say whatever it takes to get elected. Right? It's crazy. It's crazy. And she has flip-flopped on over a dozen issues, you know. And even Bernie Sanders was like, dude, you know, she has to say these things or else she'll never get elected. Dude, really? You admit it? Number one, I'm kind of impressed. Even though Bernie Sanders, if he had a spine, he wouldn't back the Democratic Party at all. Because it was the Democratic Party that screwed him over twice. You know? But some people will get screwed over for that money, man, and that influence and that power. Don't get me wrong, dude. I understand not trying to be a douche, you know, when someone screws you over, trying to be the bigger person or whatever. But don't be magnanimous. There's no reason to be magnanimous anymore at this point. You've gotten screwed over twice. You're already at the point where you're already saying, dude, look, she's saying what she needs to say to get elected. Just say it. Just say it. Say it 100% without any type of implication or coy takes on it. Just say it. Just say, dude, she's saying whatever it takes to get elected. She's a liar. She's a liar, and she shouldn't have been, you know, installed as the candidate. That's not democracy. That they're always saying it's democracy, even though we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. And that gets my goat too, dude. Oof. But anyway, so a lot of weird things have been happening this election. And it's not just the Kamala Harris thing. It's these 2 assassination attempts that I can't even believe happened. And the more that comes out on it, right, the worse it gets. Like, the more suspicious it gets. They found supposedly 6 cell phones in Ryan Roof's car. Which, by the way, how do you have a car? You know, he was unemployed, $60 in the bank. And how was he like this jet-setting dude that was constantly going back and forth everywhere? He went to a Kamala Harris rally in North Carolina. He went to Ukraine, obviously, you know, several times. They're saying he probably went to an Afghan nation because of his recruiting, you know. And all of this is done with flying, dude. He lives in Hawaii, you know? And he's unemployed and he's supposedly broke and all that stuff. It's super expensive in Hawaii. The average house value in his neighborhood is $800,000, dude. Even if it's a dilapidated house, which supposedly it is and it looks like it is, why on earth, okay? Or how on earth, I should say. How on earth did he move there to begin with? How did he stay there for 6 years? And move all over, well, you know what I'm saying, go everywhere in the globe. It's crazy. And then afford the AK and the ballistic plates and the flight from Hawaii to West Palm Beach in Florida. And it's just one thing after the other, dude. And at one point we have to go, all right, this is crazy, you guys. This is crazy. But I remember that they did not want to release the manifesto of the trans shooter. One of the trans shooters. I think there was a second trans shooter that also had a manifesto that never went out. But I'm not sure about that, so I'm not going to claim it. But I think it happened. For sure it happened once. And that's been years. But now, like what? What is it, a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever? What was the second? I don't even... This news cycle goes so fast, you guys, that I don't even have a sense of, like, whether the second attempt on Trump's life was 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, a week ago. because it's just constantly shifting. The point is, in a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, 3 weeks, it's not 3 weeks, but whatever, a week, 2 weeks, they're now releasing this letter. They've made it public, and the stuff that it says in there is the stuff of a deranged person. And as you'll see, there's a reason why Bill Barr felt that the DOJ releasing this letter was problematic and maybe even enough to incite another attempt on Donald Trump's life. And as it has been said by many people in the Secret Service and many pundits on the conservative side of things, anyways, because Fox News likes to pretend it's conservative most of the time. Some of the time it just acts out and is like, all right, here's the uniparty take, and it's crazy. But people have been saying, oh, there's probably going to be another attempt on Donald Trump's life again and again and again and again and again before the election. And if he gets elected, for sure, it's like, and these are Secret Service agents. Dan Bongino said it would happen for sure a second time and probably a third time. And guess what? He was proven right at least about the second attempt. And this is what's happening, dude. It says, it served no purpose other than to risk inciting further violence, he says. Now, listen, we're going to go through this, but don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I know it's a little late in the video for that, but it would be nice if you guys do. We'd love to have you be the newest member of the flock. The flock is for life. So come join us, guys. We'd love to have you. The air is for everyone. Now, we're going to get into this. I'm going to try to wrap it up because I was a little long-winded, but dude, I've had that, and there's so much more that I want to say. But maybe we'll get into that later, depending on the comments. Because, I'm sure that there's going to be people that are like, dude, just do reaction videos. We don't care about your political takes. But, it's my channel, so I guess I'm going to try to do what I want, right? Anyways, it says, former U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr said there is no reason why the Department of Justice, the DOJ, should have released a letter allegedly penned by the suspect of a second assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump that was referenced during the suspect's second court hearing on Monday. The DOJ submitted the letter, which months before the alleged attempt was left with an individual who contacted law enforcement after learning that Ryan Ruth was the suspect in a bid to keep him detained before his trial on his trial on federal weapons violations. A federal judge on Monday agreed to deny Ruth's request for bail, while prosecutors later said they would seek attempted assassination charges against the subject. Which, that is what should happen, dude. Like, this is... What was he there for? He wasn't there to invite Trump anywhere, you know what I'm saying? Barr, especially with the letter. Barr told Fox News on Monday, however, that the DOJ should not have released the note because it contained a claim from Ruth that he would offer a large sum of cash if he failed in his attempt. The letter attempts to rouse people in incendiary terms to take action against Trump, Barr said. There was no apparent justification for releasing this information at this stage. It served no purpose other than to risk inciting further violence. And I agree with him, because if you look at it, there's going to for sure be a deranged lunatic, that's going to go, you know what? Even he might not even be a believer in leftist politics, He might not even be a believer, because the people that are saying that Ryan Ruth is a Republican, they're morons, okay? Just because you say you voted for someone in 2016 for Trump doesn't mean you did, number one. He could have been lying about it, which he was lying about it, because later on they showed that he didn't cast a vote anywhere in 2016. Anyways, whatever. And then on top of that, you've got a Biden Walls freaking bumper sticker on your truck. I don't know how you have the truck either, because you're unemployed and broke. And then you've got him attending Kamala Harris campaigns, not Biden campaigns, Kamala Harris campaigns. Not that Biden would have been that much different, even though, he also uses lies and hoaxes that they know are hoaxes, but they perpetuate them anyways because it's useful for their cause, you know, like the Very Fine People and the Bloodbath and Project 2025. Oh my lord, if I hear about Project 2025 again, it's insane. The new Tim Walz ad, which is cringe as hell. If you look at it, he's fixing a $50,000 truck, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I love to fix trucks," you know, because you do, I'm sure, right? And it's like, and he's talking about how Project 2025 was drafted and they didn't make it just to not use it. And it's like, dude, he didn't make it. He had nothing to do with it. And he said, but it doesn't matter because it's useful to their cause, bro. And it's just crazy. You might not even be a leftist. You might just be down on your luck and desperate or whatever. And you might just take the shot on Donald Trump's life because you're desperate. So putting out a letter that openly calls to arms anybody willing to take the, you know, another attempt on Trump's life is crazy. It. I have to agree with Barr here. It really does not help. It doesn't help what's going on, and it seems like a massive oversight on the part of the DOJ. And the DOJ has been constantly messing up when it comes to Trump. And I can't believe that they're mistakes, because when the mistakes always break against Trump, they're not mistakes anymore. They're not mistakes. They're just machinations. You know what I'm saying? So he goes, excuse me, Barr said, I find that the weight of evidence against the defendant is strong. Oh, I'm sorry. I find that the weight of the evidence against the defendant is strong. It wasn't Bill Barr that said this. It was U.S. Magistrate Judge Ryan McCabe, said during the bail hearing on Monday, according to court reporters. The judge sided with prosecutors in finding that Ruth presents a risk to the public and also a flight risk, citing evidence presented in the court filing that Ruth had searched on his phone how to travel from West Palm Beach, Florida to Mexico. Yeah. The letter allegedly written by Ruth in the months leading up to the alleged attempt was addressed to the world and contained the suspect's apparent admission that he was trying to, you know, kill Trump, basically. The letter read, "But I failed you," and added in part, "I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster." Barr was the U.S. Attorney General under the Trump administration before he resigned in late 2020. He previously served in that position under President George H.W. Bush. Even if the DOJ thought it important to provide the letter to the court, it could have redacted inflammatory material or arranged to have the letter submitted under seal. It was rash to put out this letter in the midst of an election during which 2 attempts on the life of President Trump have been made, the former Attorney General told Fox News. The letter and the other new details were meant to bolster the DOJ's contention that the 58-year-old suspect had engaged in a premeditated plan to assassinate Trump, which officials say was thwarted by a U.S. Secret Service agent who saw the suspect's rifle in the bushes. They saw the muzzle near Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach while he was golfing. The agent then fired in Ruth's direction, forcing him to flee, authorities have said. The handwritten letter, allegedly describing Ruth's plans, was placed in a box that he dropped off months earlier at the home of an unidentified person who did not open it until after last Sunday's arrest, prosecutors said. So it was about a week and 2 days, I guess. The box also contained ammunition, a metal pipe, building materials, tools, more phones, extra phones, and various letters. The person who received the box and contacted law enforcement was not identified in the DOJ's detention memo and was described only as a civilian witness. In Monday's hearing, Christy Militello, an assistant federal public defender, representing Ruth, asked during Monday's hearing for Ruth to be permitted to live with his sister in Greensboro, North Carolina, as the case moves forward. She argued that prosecutors had failed to show that he was a threat to the community and noted his track record of habitually showing up for court appearances throughout decades of legal troubles. That's another thing. This guy had such a rap sheet that he really shouldn't have been free. You know, such a rap sheet. Previously, FBI officials said Ruth was positioned near the golf course for 12 hours before he was arrested on September 15th. Ruth didn't fire any shots and had no direct line of sight to Trump, they said. Yeah, right. Piers Morgan has said countless times that he knew exactly where Ruth had to have been because that's where the news cameras always go and position themselves in that exact location when they try to get pictures of Trump golfing. So he knew it. He knew it right away when he saw it on the map. He knew it right away then. He knew it. He knew it from firsthand experience because he's been there a few times or many times. I don't know. They're friends, you know. Even though, you know, Piers is a liberal, I would say he's more a classical liberal than anything, but not super classical. Because he does have some, you know, outrageous left-wing views, but he's mostly a liberal. Now, I wouldn't say leftist. During the accident, authorities recovered an SKS-style rifle with a scope that authorities say had a scratched-off serial number. Ruth currently faces charges of possession of a firearm as a felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Ruth has entered no plea, and his next court date is scheduled for next Monday, September 30th. The alleged assassination plot was the second attempt in as many months against Trump, who was nearly struck in the skull by a bullet fired by a gunman at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th. The suspect in that case, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was shot and killed moments later by Secret Service snipers. The Epoch Times contacted the DOJ for comment on Tuesday, but received no word back. No surprise there. And I don't know if I should show you guys the letter. It's crazy. Look it up, guys. I'm not going to show it because, you know, I don't want to do what I believe the DOJ is doing, you know, which is kind of broadcasting the what would you even call it? A bounty, I guess? The bounty that this crazed man put on President Trump's head. But that's where we are, you guys. Kind of crazy, right? Well, you guys let me know, man. Let me know in the comments. How do you guys feel about all this? You know, this is nuts, dude. This is seriously nuts. And please, 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 dude, I find all of the trolling and the hate watching and all that, I find it funny. I really do. Even when you guys, you know, call me a Nazi on Twitter, it's really funny. It's really funny. But when people say that Donald Trump paid these people, these would-be killers, and that it's all staged and all that, that drives me up a wall, dude, because it's just like, what planet are you living on, dude? Like, the poor fire chief that died, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyways, so do me a favor, don't say that, dude, because that'll just upset me. But you know what? I shouldn't have said that. You go ahead and upset me. So you guys, have a great day. As always, thank you for hanging out. It's been a long one, so I really appreciate you making it to the end of the video. Think about subscribing. I would really appreciate it. It'd be really cool, you guys. And I talk about, you know, politics and video games, comics, movies, and I do reaction videos to music, which sometimes gets me copyright strikes. I'm kind of upset about that, but whatever. Comes with the territory, I guess, with the haters, right? Anyways, you guys, love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate it. And as always, stay safe and stay based.